Ken here with another Mortgage Minute. This time I want to talk about appraisals. After the typical slowdown in winter, we saw spring buying start early this year, and we're getting multiple offers, we're getting escalation clauses, and along with that, we are getting some low appraisals. My first inclination when I get a low appraisal is think, what is that appraiser thinking about? But then I remembered Clark Dixon of Dixon Appraisal and a video we took a few years ago when we had him for a meeting. You'll find some of this pretty interesting. It actually answers some questions I had.
What transpires when you have a market with a shrinking inventory? And so I talk, and sometimes when I'm out speaking to realtors, I talk about this specific issue, and it's a really tough conversation for you guys to have when that appraisal comes in low, and you happen to be in one of those markets where there's a real shortage of inventory and multiple offers and escalation clauses and what takes place, and how come the appraisers are so stupid.
I never said appraisals are stupid. I was tempted, but I never said appraisers are stupid.
That they can't figure out that when you have a willing buyer and a willing seller, each acting in their own best interest in terms of cash, that's market value. And if we were all sitting around over a cup of coffee or a beer with a couple realtors in a room, I think we could all come to an agreement that the market value is what the market's willing to bear. And that all sounds great as if you're microeconomic theory.
Microeconomic theory? Whoever says microeconomic theory? What is microeconomic theory?
But implied in that definition of market value, where there's a willing buyer and a willing seller, each acting in their own best interest in terms of cash, is the word rationally. They're acting rationally in their own best interest in terms of cash. And what happens anytime you have a shortage, whether it's with food or oil or gasoline or housing,
or water or toilet paper or even face masks,
people stop acting rationally. And so the expectation now is that the appraiser is supposed to, using rational information that the secondary market says has to be historical information, is now tasked with coming up with a market value support estimate that uses rational behavior and past historic sales to support a current market that may not be acting rationally. And the fact of the matter is, there isn't anything that they can do about that.
This makes a little bit more sense to me now. Nothing they can do, they're tied by the rules.
Right? So they may say, as of last week when they wrote up this agreement, it was perfectly market value in a perfect supply and demand scenario. But using historical sales as dictated by Fannie and Freddie and FHA and VA and any other secondary market lender, they can't get there from here.
I sure am glad I'm not an appraiser. Thank you, Clark, for letting us know the difference between market value and appraised value. Clark Dixon, Dixon Appraisal.